Now, major changes at another household name. The CEO of Gap is stepping down as the company prepares to spin off Old Navy. Shares are down more than 8% on the news. 8%. Art Peck has been head of Gap since 2015. He's the latest of the long line of CEOs to leave their posts in recent months. We'll talk about the CEOs leaving and, of course, but, you know, I mean, this is what it doesn't get much more solid in the clothes marketing than the Gap hoodie. Clare Sebastian is here with a hoodie of her own.
Right, got another one over here.
All right. You know, Gap is... I remember when I was of a certain age, Gap, it may not have been the most trendiest place, but it's the place you went to for all your staples.
But there was a time when it was trendy, Richard. Don't you remember in 1996, Sharon Stone, I think we have a picture, she wore a Gap turtleneck to the Oscars. It was that trendy back then. This is where teenagers used to go. We all wanted one of these tops. But look, this is a classic case. There she is. There's Sharon Stone with the Gap hoodie. This is a classic case where the numbers just aren't keeping up.
Right.
Art Peck came in 2015. He was supposed to bring Gap into the digital age. He was supposed to revive flagging sales. I think you look at the share price, that patently hadn't worked. And along with his departure...
Why? Because here I can remember them trying to redo their fashion. Here they decided to go into different colours. Here they decided to do something else. None of it has really worked. Why?
A couple of things. Art Peck is known as someone who once used the term false messiahs when referring to creative editors. He wasn't that keen on the people with the creative vision coming in. He preferred to look at big data when it came to creating trends. But they've got these disparate brands. They've got Gap, which we got these jumpers from today. They've got Old Navy. They've got Banana Republic. And the big issue today is Old Navy. The company is supposed to be spinning off next year. He wasn't supposed to leave before that happened. Now that throws the whole thing into doubt. Analysts are questioning whether the board is re-evaluating. The company tells us they're not. But they're also questioning whether or not it's a good idea, because the numbers they put out today, along with his departure, show that sales at Old Navy are also falling. And that is a problem. That's why he's out.
Right, but is there, I guess always, is there something fundamentally wrong with Gap?
It's what we see across the retail industry, Richard, just compounded, because they are the top mall tenant across many of America's malls. And we know that foot traffic there is declining. And they just haven't been able to drum up the kind of e-commerce business that you need to fuel your brick and mortar in today's retail environment.
The CEOs who are going at the moment, lots of them.
Right.
I'm trying to see, I mean, if there's a common thread that you can, here we go. We've got, so he was useless on his IPO. eBay?
There are a couple of common threads. The data that's come out is from Challenger Gray and Christmas, and I spoke to Andrew Challenger this afternoon. He said, look, we're now coming to the end of one of the longest expansions in US history. This is the kind of expansion that gives people like Adam Newman, other kind of visionaries, the chance to create something out of nothing. When these companies reach maturity, sometimes you need someone else to take over. Plus, some of these companies might be retrenching for a downturn. They might want to put someone else in place who, has a new vision. Some of these people were there a long time. Bill McDermott, Mark Parker was at Nike for 13 years. So it might be, time as we're entering a new economic phase.
And that's a unique circumstance.
Well, this is another. Boards are getting tougher on ethical issues. This is something that we're seeing increasingly.
But the average tenure of a CEO traditionally has been, it used to be said it was 3 years.
Right.
So that's a year to get in the job, a year to try and do something about it, and a year to realise that you failed and be kicked out.
And so most of these are longer than that. So we've got 4 years for Art Peck, we've got 4 years for Steve Easterbrook. As I said, 13 years for Mark Parker. Devin Vainig was there for 8 years. So there's a lot of long-term CEOs here who shepherded these companies through this expansion. And now that we're at the stage where people are looking out maybe 2 years and thinking we're going to enter a different economic cycle, perhaps looking for something different.
But I just wonder whether the tenure of the CEO, the magic has gone.
Well, I mean, I don't know if I would say that. I think perhaps when it comes to these visionary founders, which is what we've become used to, but I think part of it is also that expectations have been reset because we've seen this expansion and this rocketing growth. Sometimes just a bit of growth, like you see at eBay, for example, isn't good enough for boards. They're looking for something more explosive.